They haven't really looked at them. They haven't played them much. They played them just the once, and he wasn't quite sure. He seemed a little bit unclear, really, as to what he was going to do. But that's not really what's going to happen. He's going to have spent the time in between studying.
I think that's
right?
false modesty.
Yeah.
I think he definitely studied them, and I think he has a plan. But that being said, they are a bit harder to predict than a lot of other teams that they've played.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they've played a lot of random stuff as well. So, like Malcolm says, Malcolm. Back to Malcolm in the middle again.
What are you going to do?
It is difficult to try and counter them and try and figure out what they're going to do.
I think, depending on how well EG has studied them, I think it could maybe even be a good thing for them if they haven't studied them too intensely, because maybe they're not going to be too worried. It's a mental thing going into a grand final like this. You have confidence is a really important factor. Now, sometimes there's like a thin line between being overconfident and just being stupid. But I think EG, they just seem like a very confident team, and that can be maybe the most important attribute for them going into this matchup, is that even if they know what IG are going to play and they still want to play against it, then I believe they have the plan ready. That is
okay. Well, plan ready or not, we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final of ESL 1 Frankfurt 2014. The draft is upon us, Bruno.
Yeah, and we see each other. We're talking about studying teams. IG doesn't want to give that Enigma that combos so well with the TIE Hunter before, doesn't want to give away the Wisp. IG, they're not gonna get neither the Lycan nor the Ember Spirit, but we do see really, really fast picks. And Seb, you're surprised or trying to figure out what's on the screen. I'm not sure, but I'll let you talk anyways.
I like the instant bottom. I mean, I don't like the pick necessarily. I'm not saying it's bad, but they instantly picked bottom and Void versus the Doom, so they must have a plan. So this is really interesting. We've seen Universe being very successful at using that Void on the offlane. The Ember ban that we indeed predicted, but it wasn't quite hard. I mean, Ferrari is such a beast on their hero. And the Lycan, which IG have been using quite well on Luo and Ferrari, actually.
I think these picks is as much because they fit EG, right? But they're as much to leave them or keep them away from IG, because IG likes both of these heroes, whereas TIE Hunter is not something we've seen IG play, so there's absolutely no rush for them to pick up something like that.
Yeah, indeed. And right now everything's open for EG, right? They can still play that Void as a carry.
Yeah,
they can play that bottom on the support.
And maybe they can pick a Batrider, because if you remember, IG was kind of like one of those teams that they wanted to ban the Batrider, but now they're left letting it through.
That is true.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe they pick it right now. Not sure if that's what you want right now, because you have so many setups. If the Batrider jumps on anyone other than the Void, then you can set away a big Chronosphere. Batrider, like the thing about that hero, right? When you lasso someone and you bring them to your team, necessarily the team kind of conglomerates around the target because you want to pick him fast. And that opens for great RPs, Chronos, and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And the Chronosphere could, really work. I like the Rasta, obviously. We've actually commented on that earlier in the tournament, how successful they are at using Rasta. I think Schwan actually lost a game versus Mouse with that Rasta.
16-1 now, I think.
Yeah, Faith didn't.
Exactly.
So that Rasta on Faith is just a nightmare to play against.
And again, they've gone for the Mirana, most picked of all in 681 for EG. They've done it again. They've only lost 3 games on it, and I was also going to say Faceless Void. They've also lost 1 as well. Sorry, lost my place there.
It happens at some certain age.
So Mirana, they've only lost 3 of 18, and they've only lost 1 of 7 with Faceless Void combined. So fine for them, comfort picks.
Yeah.
Look for the Pugna. I mean, right now, Pugna could be a decent pick. You know, the pushing power from Rasta, Pugna, going into them. Let's see if EG wants to ban that.
This is what I was expecting. I'm actually surprised about IG's initial bans. Enigma, not so much, but the Wisp, sort of like, EG played 1 game with Wisp, but it wasn't really a convincing game by any means. So that they ban out the Wisp rather than banning something like the Tinker that we've seen EG and RTC in particular perform really, really well with in the past. That was a bit surprising to me, or something entirely else like the Batrider, because to me, Batrider is a much bigger threat than the Wisp in EG's hands.
Well, everyone is ignoring it, but however, the same way that you pointed out the Tinker van, I want to say the Airshaker van from EG is actually really clever, because the Airshaker was the thing that kept everything together in that IG draft, where everyone seemed really vulnerable, but when you have the Airshaker there, it's really hard to get.
You can already see it here. PPD might have said that he didn't really have time to study them and wasn't really sure what he's going to do, but he definitely did. Everything is spot on. Everything in this draft is spot on. From how he bends to how he picks and counter interacts with the picks from IG. I don't think he's made any mistakes as of yet.
Ben, what do you think of how IG is drafting so far? Do you think they can go for heavy push, as we said with the puck now, or do you think we go more for like try to fight team fight with team fight?
It's really difficult to break the high ground versus EG though. As we saw last game, as Fnatic tried to push the high ground, it just was insanely difficult. So I think they need to draft a lot more late game.
Okay.
Everything's open so far, honestly. There's one hero I could see in that game is the Turn Protector. I mean, IG has been banning that hero the second phase the whole tournament almost, and right now it's true. And maybe they wanna get it for themselves. It could make sense. I mean, EG is lacking of, okay, that's the Pugna from IG.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
EG decided that's Volunteer from EG. They let it to IG. So let's see if they can
We're
actually
not going
deal
to see
with
a
it.
bad fight of this game.
I don't think so
no.
either.
With the Void and the Panda already picked, Arteezy wouldn't be playing either of those.
He's getting the Razor. And
Yeah, we'll see whether that happens. Actually, it was IG that did a lineup similar with a Razor and a Faceless Void that didn't work.
Well, they went all out. They went Death Prophet, Lich,
Exactly.
and Shadow Shaman.
And Shadow Shaman, yeah, and it didn't work. So now EG is going to try their same tactics a little bit against them. We'll see what IG can do against that. But most importantly, when we talk about Shadow Shaman, we talk about kind of a greedy pick. IG really likes to roam with him, really likes to go and try to gank the other lanes, and especially against Arteezy, that's going to be very important. With the Shadow Shaman as well, you might want something more mobile, like a Sand King, and you have a support duo, or maybe even a jungler. Do you think a jungler would make sense to you, Seb?
Right now it would, because honestly EG have they have a really good pick, a really good team fight, but they have really weak lanes and they have nothing to really, they can't answer to aggression early on. So if Enchantress is starting to dive a lane, who's gonna rotate early on? The Razor? It's not gonna
Is it going to
work.
be a support Mirana again?
I think it is a support Mirana.
most definitely.
It has to be.
And PBD almost had no impact on the support Mirana, but this game he'll have a little bit more setup with the Faceless Void. And look at the lineup. EG actually favors Razor a lot versus a Doombreaker. You catch your Eye of the Storm, you catch your Static Link, and you don't really care if you get Doom. And it's actually pretty good versus single target heroes like Shadow Shaman.
Who's going offlane that game? Is it the Doom offlane?
Yeah, it's a Doom offlane, and I guess it's going to be the Viper mid against the Razor?
Might be. Or the Pugna. The thing is that Super has been playing the Pugna quite a lot. I haven't seen Luo play it. I don't, so I guess, Super far. I guess it will be Ferrari, not Super obviously.
No, I think YYF is playing the Pugna here, I think.
Yeah.
Luo on the Doombringer.
Yeah.
What we're missing right
Luo
now
has
is...
played the Pugna 3 times.
Oh, has he
3-0.
really?
Yeah, 3-0 with the Pugna.
I got that wrong.
But at the same time, as you said before, YYF
I think we're looking at a Chan hero.
is 5-1 with the Pugna.
Juan hero? Yeah. We are looking at the Juan hero, that's for sure.
Juan, Mr. Juan.
Just while you're on the subject of stats as well, Brewmaster, they've never lost a match in 6-8-1 when they picked him, but they've lost every time when they've had Razor.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's time for a draw.
It's time something has to go wrong with the stats.
Both drones will
As I
destroy
said
each other.
yesterday, they did win with Razor yesterday, very convincingly as well, I think, right?
Was it
Only
EG?
the stats
was
pre-ESL
EG.
1.
Yeah,
so
This is pre-tournament.
Yeah, this is pre-tournament
Yeah,
stats.
pre-tournament.
Oh, cheesy. So we're looking indeed at a Zai hero now.
I said yesterday, it was earlier today.
Yeah,
That's how long this day has been.
It felt like yesterday.
What is Zai playing in that case?
well, he can bring the Wraith King.
He could.
What did you
I think the Red King is very greedy here. I would go for the Shadow Demon. It's the safe bet.
Shadow Demon is a great pick indeed.
Oh, it's
Sand King is also
Sand King
good.
is really good. Sand King
If nothing
Mirana.
else, also to deny it from IG. And again, these are one of these picks that can work really well for EG.
And it's the enchant.
Pleasure of seeing this yet, but Enchantress is probably his go-to hero. You can really hear from the crowd right now. They're really excited.
Okay, thanks very much, gents. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand final of ESL 1 Frankfurt. Let's take it to another level with your commentators for Invictus Gaming versus Evil Geniuses.
Thank you very much. We are here. It's finally grand final time. I'm Toby1, joined by Cinder and Man. You know we'll get here eventually. And it's rather fitting. USA versus China. Invictus Gaming versus EG. And what a wonderful draft as well. Early game pressure to be applied by Invictus Gaming. Late game potential. Team fight from EG. Early game potential with arrows and Brewmaster initiation. This draft seems to have everything for us.
Yeah, I'm. It's really great to see this being the grand finals. I think this is how it should have turned out based on the performance from both teams in the tournament. I'm happy to see them in the grand finals. I would say arguably the two best performances in the tournament so far, which is why they're here, right? So, yeah, great argument there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This should be a great game coming out. I'm really surprised to see IG actually getting away with getting the Chuan Enchantress on their 5th pick. So EG must be feeling really confident going in against that. And wow, this one is going to be a really great game because it's a clash of two different styles. We've got IG playing their very successful mid-game oriented pushing style with their Pugna lineup, which YYF has been amazing on every single time, and EG with their heavy team fight.
Where's Zai? Burrow strike, he tries into the tree line, the arrow was there. It was trying to make sure 100%. If that Burrow strike connected, that would have first blood, but Burrow strike level 1 range, it is just so short.
And with that not connecting, I think we've got time to introduce the players for both teams. So let me introduce Team Evil Geniuses. We've got Arteezy playing as the Razor. Zai will be playing on the Sand King. Mason on the Brewmaster. PPD on the Mirana. And finally, none other than, of course, Universe on the Void.
And of course, through the Invictus Gaming lineup for China, we have Luo, who will be the Doombringer on the off lane. That's Ferrari 430, one of my favorite players to watch in the mid solo. Chuan Enchantress. He will be the man taking up that role of Faith. Will be there as the Shadow Shaman. And that leaves, last but not least, on his signature hero too, the Pugna YYF. And one of my favorite heroes as well, Synderen. I'm a huge fan of watching Pugna. He has such an early game presence that you just you love it when he forces out those towers. The Pugna Blast forces reactions from the supports. And in this case, EG supports have to be ready. Haste Rune from Zai. He walks up. Faith, this time, the combination will connect. Arrow into him. Do they have enough damage to finish the job? Faith, he's dropping low, he's dead. There's no way he'll survive. EG spill first blood here in the grand final up against Invictus Gaming, who have been looking flawless throughout this tournament.
What a great early smoke as well. They realized that getting that haste rune will set them up for an easy gank here, and they smoked at 10 seconds game time, which is a very unusual play these days, but made it work very well here, and it might not be done yet.
Well, yeah, they're up a long way. Ferrari, Burrow strike, arrow combination, and in comes Arteezy. The link's not up there. He's just looking for the right-click damage. Shadow Shaman keeping PPD out, which means that he takes it out, the second range attacker. Arteezy with no plasma field to start with. He wasn't finding the damage required to go up against Ferrari.
A little far back there, Arteezy was, and of course he was only level 1, so didn't have the plasma field and can't finish off the kill, but still, EG off to a good start with that first blood. I want to keep a little bit of an eye on the bottom lane, because in this tournament, when Universe has been playing these one-on-one off lanes with Void, he has been getting great farm, but so has YYF on that Pugna, and the stat that Nahaz brought up before is that YYF is 7-1 on Pugna over the last few weeks, and the games tend to end very, very early. Now, EG is a team that generally don't lose the game early on. They're very good at defending, and in this game they have a great defensive lineup. So the question is, can YYF pull out a great Pugna performance again? I think it's a good Pugna game, especially against Sand King. Epi into Blink is not a possibility under the Nether Ward.
Yeah, and it's another thing too on this bottom lane. Universe, normally you see these Faceless Voids do really, really well up against just basic damage dealers, the base damage or physical damage dealers, but YYF is a different kettle of fish here. Decrepify plus Blast, it's going to make Universe have to blow that time walk very, very early on, and because of that, he's going to get low. He can't always get towards the front lines. YYF's physical damage is basically nothing anyway. It's a poor man's shield as well as having backtrack, so chances of him getting a hit on that one is very, very low, but as he just keeps spamming out, he pushes towards the tower, and more importantly, I think, for this bottom lane, is also Faith. YYF is one piece of the cake right now. Faith is the other one to basically make it. And if he can get those Mass Serpent Wards up, Invictus Gaming's pushing power really goes through the roof. Combining up with Chauntress, there's a lot to go here. Unfortunately for Enchantress, I'm not seeing...
Unfortunately for IG, they're gonna die!
They're jumping in. Die. He's looking for the double Burrow strike. Can't get it. Takes out Faith to start with a double damage. Now he'll go through YYF. 2 will turn into 3 kills here for EG. As Invictus Gaming, they're having a horrid early game.
You know what this reminds me of?
What does this remind you of?
IG's second game against Mouse Sports. Ridiculous early game aggression and rotation seems to be the way to deal with IG in the early game. This time it's a Sand King Mirana. For Mouse Sports it was a Bane Mirana. And pretty much the exact same thing has been happening so far as in that Mouse Sports game. And they just don't look like they want to go on the aggression. They're going to go again!
Zai, he's got 2 levels up in that Burrow strike. He's going to hit it. The arrow's coming down, but it will not connect. YYF decrepifies and blasts, trying to keep them away. PPD, he can't go in deeper. He leaped to the side to try and find that angle. But Zai, a great way to start it. He cut a path through the tree line, which basically made it possible to gank on YYF.
but they came too deep.
That one could have even turned into been turned into a fourth kill with the arrow off the mark there. A little bit of miscommunication, or maybe PPD thought it was going to take him a longer time for the arrow to travel there. Of course, it was a kind of long shot there. So
They got the middle lane. This will be Shackles right now. They got double status. Look at that nuke damage coming out from IG. This is trouble for Arteezy and Chuan. Wonderful body block with one of the status. Able to get the revenge kill off here. So
yeah,
1-3.
Just a matter of time before the Enchantress starts making some good rotations as well. And the first one from Chuan here, not only does he kill off the Razor, Zai actually tries to, oh no, sorry, that was PPD TPing in there trying to defend, or to save Arteezy rather, and didn't really manage to, so rotations forced as well, and this is important for IG so they can get some space for YYF, who generally plays an absolutely amazing Pugna when he's ahead, and so far he's been crippled a little bit for once.
Yeah, this is a bit of a rough game right now for him, and I also want to point out too one thing from Zai as he's dropping very, very low on life. He's managed to get he's only got 1 point up in Sandstorm, which is a real problem for him. He put the second point in Burrow Strike, so he can basically chase a couple of these kills. Unfortunately for him, level 1 Sandstorm isn't enough to deal with these stacks. And until he has that, he basically can't free farm. So he needs to go around either gank once again or start pulling on the top lane, which means he's basically taking up the space of what PPD was doing for a while. But now PPD, man, I don't think this guy has stayed in one lane. It's very reminiscent of just like these roaming supports which never really belong anywhere. But Chauntress, he's going to make EG come to the bottom lane. Mirana had to come here. We start with the Tornado, so already the bottom lane is really difficult for EG to fight on. But the fact they've got Nuke with the Shackles, which is about to get up to level 2 in a moment. YYF, the Blast is already up to level 3. So they can really force a lot of damage onto this tower. And
they're going to be surprised by Universe.
Oh yeah, he's actually level 6, isn't he?
Hitting it now.
If they hit the Chrono right, like Zai's coming down again too, they're going to have a lot of mana to play around too. Because like all of these early ganks that came out from EG.
4.5 minutes Arcane Boots. How often do you see a level 3 hero with Arcane Boots?
Like, if he's doing pure jungle, then it wouldn't be a surprise. But a roaming SK with Arcane Boots, yeah, I'll be more surprised at that. But PPD's be sacrificing himself. Look, he's got one Leap Branch and one, I don't know if what that's a Leap Tango, or if that's just like a Midnight Snack. They're coming in from middle lane now.
Midnight Snack
Strike. Arrow to connect. Too easy. Way too easy for Arteezy.
Yeah, that was kind of too easy for him. His team kind of set him up for that one.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't really take too much effort from the Razor, I'll agree with that. But these rotations from EG early on have been absolutely magnificent. They haven't failed any of the smoke ganks, but they have committed. I think if they used all 3 of their smokes at this point, at least 2 of them. Yeah, they've got 1 left.
They've used a lot, but look at what the space they've made. Like, up on top lane, you got Mason, who's gone 39 for 8. He's the highest CS on the board, and at this point, he's actually 10 CS higher than that of the Doombringer. But more importantly, Mason, he's got the split available. So when he feels the time is right, and he can drop Luo down a little bit lower, he's able to get his split off. And that's going to be his key thing. He may need an extra stunner just to make sure there's no Doom to really stop him. Hello, bottom lane. Universe, ulti. He got YYF. He got a time lock as he came out of that one. PPD looks at the arrow help to go with that. Obviously, when you're held inside the time lock, it's very difficult to move yourself away.
Yeah, the whole draft from EG and the whole early game is working out very well. Now, the question is how they keep this up when we reach a little bit later into the game when IG start running their Death Ball push. But the rotations early on have secured, have actually secured EG a really good lead in which IG supports a low level. That's perhaps the most important thing, is that Faith is only level 3.
Yeah, that's
going to take a while before they get the key abilities up.
Yeah, they just had their smoke break. Mason was farming on the other side. They throw the ward down so they can have a check of it, but Mason's been alerted to their presence for the moment, especially when a Tornado appears on top. And Chuam, he's just been having a really hard time with creeps he can pick up. Like, he had a Centaur, but it timed out as he was running up towards the top lane. All he's been getting is, like, Satyrs as well as Wild Wings. I say that now, he has like the hero which Puppy was able to claim first blood with, and one of the most annoying creeps to play up against. He now has the Harpy in his possession. And with a Tornado, really... PPD's also having a really bad time.
Yeah, I think he did get spotted out by that one, right? It didn't only deal the damage. It's got pretty decent flying vision, I believe, so I'm pretty sure PPD got spotted by that. So his TP, not for once, not working out for EG with an attempted gank, but maybe they're gonna, well, PPD. Maybe it's gonna go the other way.
Do not go down here. Razor, Shackle's gonna be on him. The Arrow's gonna try and find some space, connecting on Lure, but the Doom's already committed to Razor. Arteezy buys the belt of strength before he dies. So doesn't lose too much gold, but it's a smoke gank to pick up the mid lane. But they're moving 4 heroes to ensure this. And YYF, like, he's pushing at the bottom lane, that's great. Universe has Chrono up in 15 seconds time, and you know he'll be looking for another gank. For me, I think the major problem for Invictus Gaming is the fact that this Blink Dagger Arcane Boost is going to be up before 10 minutes.
That's the major thing for me, especially when you combine it with the fact that Zai is just free farming inside of his own jungle at the moment. Arcane Boost and Blink Dagger's on the way for him. EG is going to have such initiation by the time like the 15-minute mark arrives that Invictus Gaming have got to be well on their toes.
They do have some decent counters, though, to the Brewmaster initiation. They have the Doom, and they have a Hex from Faith, who, by the way, has been really quick on his finger with that throughout this tournament when he's been playing the Shadow Shaman. So they do have ways of fighting EG in teamfights, especially. You never forget how important the Nether Ward can be, but you're right. When EG gets these Blink Daggers up, especially if it's only on, and when they have a Void, this is something I talked about previously in the tournament. I love lineups that have multiple ways of initiating, and EG has exactly one of those lineups. Void can jump in with Time Walk. You've got the Sand King with a Blink Dagger, Brewmaster with a Blink Dagger, and even an Arrow can set up a beautiful team fight for you. So EG have so many options, whereas IG's lineup has like one option it's really good at and has to perform. And EG's early rotations have completely denied IG from being able to play that type of game so far.
The funny thing is, too, I know we were beating a little bit about this before, when you go a high melee lineup, when you have a Faceless Void, the Chrono can sometimes be really bad for your team. Or if you have like combinations which are trying to stack up on top of each other, like an Enigma Black Hole and a Faceless Void, Chrono, it just doesn't really work. But in this case, like SK, he can trigger his Epicenter and go straight into the Chronosphere, and the Epicenter does continue. Razor can sit in the side with Plasterfield and Eye of the Storm and pick up the guys on the side. Even Starfall from PPD, if he ever did it, or the Marana Arrow, they can enter in through the Chrono and still have an effect. These are the kind of things where EG have a really, really nice combination. But as you said before, IG have a good counter. The one thing which works well for them works really, really well for them. But Chuan, he needs some really good creeps to play around with here. Like, he's trying to zone PPD out of the jungle. He'll need the Doombringer up and running and ready to fight. Like Hand of Midas as well as Devour needs to work overtime for Luo to make sure he can keep up with the rest of EG's net worth. And they have to keep adding pressure towards the tower. That's why YYF, he's up on the top lane. He's looking for the tier 1 tower up here so they can go one to the next, and make sure Shadow Shaman gets money so he can get Arcane Bruce Blink Dagger, the Mass Serpent Wards, and then IG can really force the issue up against EG.
Yeah, it's a pretty big rotation here from IG that doesn't work out. Maybe
nice.
this one will, though. There's the Chrono!
Look at the damage he's stealing from him at the same time. He can't go anywhere, Ferrari. The mech though, it comes up from Ferrari, and YYF is draining PPD. Yeah, the Plasterfield will go. Ferrari low on life, but the Brewmaster already chased him into the trees where it is not safe to be. They're back in the middle lane. Burrow Strike on Faith. 2 on the sideline. They're back in again though. Luo's still in the fight. Enchantress setting up a good blast, but Zai, he's got level 6 in with the Epicenter, low on life, has to back it up. Universe, he's in too deep. The Hawk Stomp from Luo, holding Universe in position. YYF drains out the life points, backtrack, not enough for him. It just kept ticking him out. SK Burrow Strikes away, the attack follows. They need to get closer. Chorn, can he get in range for that last impact? Charge, it's got him. Zai's dead. There's no denial here. Dying back past the tier 1 tower. And Invictus Gaming will now have pressure in towards the mid lane.
And that looked so good for EG with that initiation. Like you said, Arteezy stole a lot of damage, but his skill build, he's only got 2 points in Static Link, so if he would have had more points in that in this situation, it would have been absolutely sick how much damage he could have dealt to IG, but with only 2 points, not really too scary, and the mech from Ferrari was very important there for keeping him alive and giving his team some time to get in there and get the fight going. Still want to say, I'm not actually sure who came, I guess IG came out on top a bit in
I'm
that,
saying
but not
IG
so much.
When you're in a position when you can take every tier 1 tower down, I would say IG is in front here. Like map control, when you have something like a Pugna, it's the thing where you say like IG's lineup works really well, but you need to be able to take the objectives, which means you need all the outer towers down. Pugna's a hero where your normal goal is 20 minutes in, there's not a single outer tower remaining for the lineup. You get burst experience, you get burst money, you find yourself building into like early Necro books or things along these lines. It actually looks like he's going to go for an Aghanim Scepter instead, but you need to keep that pressure going. You need to keep EG on the back foot at all times if this lineup for IG is going to work.
And this is a build that YYF, I think, goes for in pretty much every single game. He will always get that Aghanim Scepter on Pugna. He absolutely loves the ability, and the reduced cooldown, which goes down to 0, is really amazing, actually, with the life drain on Pugna. And he doesn't need to get the mech in this game because they've got it on Viper, so he's going to get that online earlier. And I believe I cast a game a few days ago where I was like, is this actually going to be the right choice? And I was immediately proven that it was the right choice. He dealt so much damage for his team, gave so much control, and you're just seeing here in the mid lane already how much damage he's actually dealing to Arteezy. And he gets so much lane presence out of it as well. Like the way he can just harass and put pressure and force EG to rotate against them. It's actually rotation-wise, bottom lane.
Yeah,
Lua's got the Doom off on Universe as well as the Hoof Stomp. Very easy kill for IG.
Yeah, Lua, that's just perfect movement. Perfect movement. You bring in the 2 cores. Actually saw Faceless Void just before he died then. He bought at least one glove. And EG, I've been noticing that too when they're on the death. They make sure they spend as much money as possible. They don't lose anything. They're not trying to give IG an inch in this game. And that will go in towards his Maelstrom build. But Invictus Gaming, they're looking really good right now. The rotations are good. EG, difficult to bring in support because they obviously have lost that forward positioning. And Faith, he finally hits level 6. So Mass Serpent Wards are online. YYF is here. You got Ferrari, you got Doombringer, the whole kit and caboodle is down here on the bottom lane for Invictus Gaming, and with Chorn also coming in from the side, they're going to ensure that this tier 2 tower is gone.
This is when EG needs to either
Chorn's
pull out.
movement too, so good. Observer Ward, that's what he came up here for. Pops the heal, Void will jump down. Now she gets a time lock in the first hit. Mason comes over to try and help off. Too early though. He actually didn't get the clap on anyone. Chorn, he's still surviving at the moment. The drain's coming out. Burrow Strike comes in from Zai. Chorn, he's still alive at the moment. Juking it around the tree lines. Finally goes down, but then back to the Mass Serpent Wards. Nowhere EG want to fight, but with the Chrono, he catches Ferrari. He catches Faith. He got the whole shebang. Goes for YYF. Ferrari, 52 life points. They've got to bring him down. They're splitting up the fight. Ferrari into the corner. Evades the arrow. PPD, the poison. He's so low and will tick out. Universe, YYF. Man fighting him. He actually wins on it. No time lock. That's what Sim was saying. No way to stop the drain. Arteezy will back up as well.
What a sick Chronosphere from Universe there. He caught one hero in the center and 2 in the periphery on both sides of the circle. Can you even say that?
You can know say what I mean. It works.
Yeah, amazing play here from EG. They still lose the tower though, so I think IG are going to be happy. This is what they came for, and they do get a 4-for-2 fight, I think, but this is what EG's lineup can do if they land their abilities correctly. And I want to point out as well, Chuan actually kited 2 heroes for a good 15 seconds, and they still lost that fight heavily. If you can imagine EG getting into that fight correctly and immediately locking down one target, that fight would have maybe even been a 5-0.
Man. Just the crazy situations which are brought forward by such high-quality Dota. Like, we knew what was going to be coming here. I know the crowd's been a little bit biased, like either side coming into most of these matches, but right now, we're just sitting here in Frankfurt enjoying wonderful, high-quality Dota coming out from both IG as well as EG. And it looks like, again, Invictus Gaming, they know 16 minutes is on the clock. They're going to keep the pressure going anywhere they can possibly find it. Now, do we have reveal? I'm looking at it right there, and Zai, it's going to be very difficult though for this to really work, but a jump up, ooh!
Actually didn't get the Doom off there.
No. He was visible for a moment because like even after the fade time of the Sandstorm went, he was still visible for a moment, but Luo,
this is such a good placement for the Nether Ward at this point. EG cannot get in and
what do they do? Battle Pass Mass Serpent Wards?
And they've got cooldown on Chronosphere as well as Primal Split, so this is the one problem EG's lineup has. Even if they get a good team fight like that, IG are going to be so quick at regrouping and just going again and securing themselves another tower.
Yeah, look at them go, they're already moving. Like, they just rotate up, and what's the Universe going to do? Oh, okay. Okay.
Is it enough, though, is the question here for IG. Is it going to be enough to get these towers early on? EG, great team at playing from behind, as they did against Fnatic in the previous series, at least in behind on map control.
IG got a glimpse. IG got a glimpse of it all. Not quite sure exactly where else they want to head.
Really good ward right now, the one they have here. They're actually even going to see the usage of Moonlight Shadow, so we'll very wisely back off here. And I don't think EG are going to find anything here. And if they find something, it's probably something IG wants them to find.
Well, IG, if they can basically sit here on the high ground and EG come into the river, yeah, they'll definitely want to find them there.
Round 2, fight.
This is still very, very dangerous. The fact that EG already flagged the fact they were going for Roshan, EG's got to know there's a ward around here somewhere as well. Like, that's just one of these things, like, you don't move from the top lane to the bottom lane without actually knowing something, and that was the observer ward up.
Fight. They want it to break out. IG's positioning is really good, though.
Watch that Universe Chrono. They're 5 together right now, EG, all holding hands, walking out of the pit, and Roshan at half-life. Invictus Gaming, they are still pacing around the pit, and EG, they're playing Ring-a-Ring-a-Rosy around the secret shop at the moment. And maybe IG just say, you know what, screw it. Like, but the problem is, like, they want to take that tier 2 tower in the top lane, but every time they try and go up that far, if they do, then EG will just take Roshan. So they can't just jump up there and take it. But what they can take is a fight. Ferrari, he's right there. Ulting over on Razor. Brewmaster jumps in. Looking for the split. The Doom! It got him. YYF stunned up. The Universe has got Ferrari locked in position. Zai! In with the MP. Luo's on the front lines, but they've already got 2 for the price of 0. Massive Moz down. Faith last gift you still alive. He got Arteezy. PPT leaps in. Will take the kill. It's 2 for the price of 3 at the moment. Void back to farming while PPD, DD Rune stolen, turns for the arrow. IG, they split perfectly like banana. PPD misses up the hill. The Ohm will still tick him out. 3 for 3 will be the trade.
I think EG are going to be happy with that. Considering that Mason didn't get his ultimate off, huge ultimate from Zai saving that fight. Great reaction from Luo on the Doom, very quickly going on the exact target that he needs to. I think for the most part of this game, as long as he dooms the Brewmaster, there's pretty much no doubt that that's the best target to go on. A hero like Razor is actually decent against Doom, because when he initiates into the fight, the main parts for Razor are to get off your ultimate, and if you can, get off the static link. And if you get doomed after that, your ultimate still runs, and your link still runs, so you can actually have a big impact as one of the very few heroes who can actually do stuff while you're doomed because of that. But Brew, on the other hand, becomes completely useless. And a 3 for 3 exchange in total here. That EG is probably happy with it, and maybe IG, they're going to be okay with it.
IG's going to be very happy with it. Once you check out the graphs and you see just the advantage they're running, obviously the gold is going to be massive because they've taken so many out of towers. Actually, if you look at the other way, experience is there for EG. 3,000 on it.
Still favoring IG because of the 7,500 gold lead, but they also have the lineup that there's pressure on. They have to keep putting some sort of pressure out on the map, because I think when this goes later on, Void and Razor have great synergy as late game carries together. So you want to be putting a little bit more pressure if you're IG. It's still by no means a problem yet, but if EG plays as well defensively as they've done before, IG might be feeling a little bit under pressure after all.
Curry's going to turn around now. YYF is getting something big. Arrow's just going to miss slightly on Ferrari in that mid lane, but YYF has his magic point. I'd also want to point out too that the ping has already come out from Chuan. Just basically pinging the fact that EG did drop the Observer and Sentry Ward. He spotted both of them going down there in the middle lane, but it looks like they don't even care at the moment. Like, they're looking to breach. I think they're going to come to breach high ground right now.
Okay.
They're looking at the tier 3 tower. Screw Roshan.
Here we
they
go.
throw down the Mass Surf Moors, the Pugna Blast as well. There's still fortification available, and look where Universe is. Chuan again. They throw the Chrono out, looking for just him. Where's the extra support coming from? It's too far away. Universe will snipe out the Enchantress, but that's Chrono down, and Massive Moors are still on the high ground, so they jump in. Doom instantly on Mason. Barrow strike from Zai. Perfect on Ferrari, but they just shake it off. They wait it out. Faith, he might be locked here for the moment, but it's Arteezy in trouble. 177 light points. Universe also slowed down. The tower is gone, and the blast is hitting the racks. And look at the MP! Zai! Bring in the rain! Luo's here. Brewmaster got the split off. He's out there on the front lines. Ferrari's going to go down. IG getting team wiped. It was a huge, again, play there from the SK. He might have to sacrifice his life for it, but EG repel Invictus Gaming from their mid-racks. And now they can look towards Roshan if they think they can get there in time. But hey, would you believe it? Chuan is watching it like a hawk.
IG were feeling so confident there. They willingly went in 4 against 5 after Chuan had fallen there. They knew Chronosphere had been used and that they had already committed their ward, so they wanted to take that fight. But again, Zai with amazing plays, left, right, and center with the Sand King. Again, pretty much defended the base there. If that epicenter doesn't come off, I think they lose at least the range barracks, which are, by the way, very, very low. But it's not only going to cost them 5 heroes here, they're also going to lose the Roshan that they really tried to defend. I think they're going to be too late.
He doesn't have mass up more, so he just uses Blink Dagger, so he can't jump in there. I was thinking like Suicidal Roshan, but not going to happen. So Roshan does belong to EG. It gets into the hands there of Arteezy. So there's a second life for one of the fun, aggressive, diving mid-heroes in our Dota 2 community. And look again, IG, they're not giving up on this. They still have to remember, they brought down the mid-racks.
This is how they need to play their lineup. I completely agree with this call. They know Epicenter's on cooldown. They know Split is on cooldown. And this is the real challenge for EG here. They have to hold this for 30 seconds without a glyph. I don't think they can.
They can't. They really, really can't. Look at Ferrari. Burrow strike from Zai. He missed it.
Ferrari unaffected. He just keeps standing and dishing out the damage. There goes Urangus Immortal. Boy, Chrono, YYF and Chon. They're going to doom over on Universe. However, look at YYF. He just stands his ground and now drains out the life points from Universe. Can move to the next target. Burrow strike from Zai. 3 heroes caught, but the melee Rex is going down to Mass Serpent Wards. It's already on the sidelines. The drain happens again. Blink count. One more level death. He's not dead yet, but PPD, he's in trouble. Invictus Gaming, they've got the buyback coming up from the Void, but they got what they wanted. They brought down the mid ranks, and they're bailing out with only losing the Shadow Shaman in this engagement.
It's just amazing to watch IG just not being phased at all by the fact that they just got team wiped. They're just so methodical about it. They analyzed the situation perfectly. Okay, guys, we got team wiped, but these crucial abilities for EG are on cooldown for a little bit longer. And they managed to get 1 lane of Rax. Now, I don't think this is enough. I think IG have to get another lane, because EG still, in these exchanges, have been getting a lot of experience. They're still way ahead on experience by about almost 10,000. IG only ahead by about 3 or 4k gold, and that means the advantage is not enough to just go and brute force another lane, and the next time around, EG will have their big ultimates, and that fight could be... If IG win it, the game's probably over. If EG are in it, they buy themselves another 5 minutes.
Man, I think IG know what their draft is meant for. And you can't hold back. You can't. If this game goes to 40 minutes, then they may even just consider tapping out at that point. They need to get Gank to push in now. That's the primary thing. They must find a kill on EG, make it go their way. And how are they going to find one? Well, you just have a bit of a look around. Moonlight Shadow. Well, Mason, where's your movement? There's your Nether Ward already coming off. They're moving back underneath the Sentry Ward. They've got the Hex already off of Mason. They want that Brewmaster. No, it's split the Chrono. It goes, but Mason's already dead.
What a sick
look at Nail! The arrow comes in. Why we have dead Zai? Epicenter. Double Burrow! Luo! It's a triple kill right now. He's on the run from a rampaging America. And Luo, he's down to ultra kill for RTZ. EG will push the middle lane, but they must do a large amount of damage, tier 2, tier 3, and then just get a counter racks down the middle.
I don't know how I keep getting surprised by how amazing these Chronospheres are, because Universe seems to be hitting them every single time. Not a single bad Chronosphere from him all game. Whenever he has the opportunity to hit a number of targets, it's not just that he hits 3 targets, it's that 3 targets is the maximum. He always hits as many as possible, and it's so well placed as well that Zai gets the perfect follow-up with the Sand King here. Excellent team fight for EG once more, and IG, they must have felt pretty good after they got that mid lane of Rax, but like you said, they know their lineup and they know their weakness, and I think they are shaking a little bit right now. They're like, okay guys, we got 1 lane of Rax. We're 12 kills behind now. I think EG are in the lead, which you would very rarely say when a team has Rax at 25 minutes. But to me, EG's experience advantage is just getting out of hand at this point.
Yeah, man, I'm 100% with you. Look at this, it's like, it's below the 12,000, and for like the first time within like 15 minutes, they have the gold advantage back their way. And that's still without actually claiming some out of towers. But you know what IG are going to do though, like, is done time and time again by these guys. They know what their draft is meant for. They must push high ground. They must do it.
Yeah, they did manage to, of course, have EG use 2 big ultimates there, but the Primal Split, I think, wasn't even used in that fight.
As well.
They're getting some big items now. The Mirana with a mech at this point.
Oh, this is...
I think
this is a really hard fight for IG. This is a really hard
time
fight.
is running out. It's not even an exaggeration at this
They
point.
even commit Mass Serpent Wards. It's a level 1 Mass Serpent Wards. He's so close to level 2, he could have just waited a couple more seconds for the creep wave to come in. I know the cooldown doesn't really get changed up, but they're trying to force the tier 2 tower, and RTZ, he just comes towards the front line and starts farming it up. This guy looks like he's even building into an SMY after finishing his BKB. And IG, like, they want to fight. They really want to fight right now, and maybe they can. Arrow flies out, the Nether Wall reveals it. Zai again, the man to go in. The Epicenter, there's your Chrono. He got Luo as well as Fate this time around. What's he farming up neutrals for? Mason jumps in, University got a time lock. He brings down Fate, they move back over to Luo. RTZ is doomed up, but he doesn't give 2 hoots. They move back over to Ferrari, and there's your Epicenter from Zai. I think IG have just blown their last chance. They're going to lose more heroes here. It's the Enchantress in the middle of the fight. It's untouchable as well as the heal, but again RTZ, another triple kill. They come to YYF. The Burrow strike from Zai. YYF, he's actually decrepifying and blasting them all, trying to hide, draining Zai. He's man fighting 4 heroes. The Mirana throws the arrow. IG, team wiped again. 30-13. It's 11-3 over on RTZ, and another amazing Chrono from Universe. But they tried to find, they knew it, that Mass Serpent Wards were down. EG knew they had the advantage.
And what's so important about EG's experience advantage at this point? Generally, experience is of course really important since you get stats and you upgrade your, of course you get a lot more damage, health, armor, whatever. But for EG, I think the biggest deal about getting higher levels is that their big ultimates scale in cooldown. They reduce their cooldown per level. Sand King's ultimate is down to 120, soon to be 100 seconds. Chronosphere went from 120 on level 1 to 80 on level 3. And Brewmaster Split also dropping 20 seconds per level. That's why, at this point when EG are reaching these high levels, even if IG managed to win a team fight at this point even if IG tried to push after EG wins a team fight, because let's be honest, that's probably going to happen the next time as well, the way this game is going, the cooldowns are going to be ready again. So the strategy IG used to claim the middle barracks just won't work anymore.
They ran out of pushing power. That's literally it. It's a little engine that can't get up the hill. And EG, they're getting stronger and stronger as time goes by. The fact you got an Aghanim Scepter over on Razor, when EG are capable of entering the IG base, it's not as strong as obviously Refresher Aghanims over on the Razor, but are still damn good.
Yeah, Arteezy did choose to go for the Ag Scepter, which is of course also the most stable pickup on Razor, if you will. The reason I was thinking he could have been going for the Halberd is of course the evasion is great, he gets more tankability out of that, and considering that the attacking heroes for IG don't have BKBs, he could have chosen whether he wanted to Halberd the Viper or the Doom, so I think that would have been a good pickup too, but this is easily the bigger damage item, and of course EG are already starting to plan when they want to siege the base, and the level 3 Eye of the Storm with Ag's upgrade is really scary at that.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't want to find that one, man. Even with this fight, I know we've been making a big hoo-ha about Arteezy during the fights, but right now, man, I want to give like MVP to Zai just for game number 1. This guy, like, Universe's Chronos have been absolutely amazing, but Zai has been 100% on the mark. The whole EG lineup is playing wonderfully in this match, and right now, well, they just got to do it again, and where is IG? They tried to poke and prod through the top lane twice already, and I think they just got sick of the tier 2 tower. Like, look at even their warding for this top lane. Aggressive Observer, Sentry, actually, yeah, Sentry, Sentry, and Sentry. They were trying to fight EG on every single term, so they knew where the Moonlight Shadow movement was coming from and they could get the initiation, but it just wasn't there, and for all of that, they were still an observer watching their entire movement from EG at that time. One thing which we should point out right now, Roshan potential spawn time is now reached again. We can see the ticker over on our side, obviously the players won't know it. It's a 3-minute potential spawn window for Roshan, and Invictus Gaming and IG will definitely be watching this like they've got to really watch that Roshan. If IG are able to get Nagus the Immortal, maybe then they may have a hope of winning the fight up against EG.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not even sure if they can do it even with an Aegis, but without it, it's starting to look impossible. The experience advantage is just insane, as I've mentioned a couple of times. But the other thing is the items that EG are starting to get. When they start getting these multiple BKBs, the lineup of IG really falls off. They don't have too much as Universe. Okay, he's going to jump into the Roche Pit and use his BKB.
Well, wait, what?
He was really sure IG were in there doing Roche, but nope. No one was there. He was playing it safe here, so he didn't somehow get instantly hexed by the Shadow Shard. As a matter of fact, there was no one in there. Would you believe it? This is perhaps the biggest surprise of this series so far. What? Universe making a mistake.
Yeah. And without a BKB coming into the next engagement, well, the downside is IG had no vision. They can't know what happened. Even where he jumped in and when he jumped out, it was out of range of the Observer Ward of the Radiant side. So Invictus Gaming have no knowledge of this whatsoever. They'll be going into the fight expecting a BKB to actually be triggered from the Faceless Void. In 30 seconds time, they'll have no surprise whatsoever. The BKB will be used, but they might be wondering why it's 1 second less duration than normal.
And you can see in this game how the mentality of the players has changed. IG was so aggressive, they were so on the front foot and really trying to put whatever pressure they could against EG, and now they're kind of stuck on their own half of the map. They don't really dare crossing the river anymore. They know that the game has completely changed around, and I'm wondering what IG are hoping for at this point, because as we've talked about a couple of times now, EG have actually managed to accumulate so much at this point that IG's lineup has reached the point when it's just flat out going to lose the game.
Yeah.
I'm
wondering if even like a Rax is worth it.
I think IG will try one more push, and if this one fails, you don't want to drain yourself too much on a lost game. This is something we see a lot of top-tier teams do. In particular, 2 teams to point out that do that are Na'Vi and Alliance, who, when a game is lost, it's just lost. Don't waste focus on a game that you have no chance of coming back in. Reset, go out, take a break, come back in and play the second game, and don't let the first game haunt you too much.
At the same time, man, like sometimes you don't always get your break in between the games, so being able to just sit there, just work through the motions and see if you can actually force a team. Like if there's still hope, there's no reason to give up. So if you think you can do it, you stay in that game and you fight to the bitter end, man. Like you can, yeah, I can agree. Like you don't want to wear yourself out, but at the same time, you don't want to just give a free game over. Calling a GG at 20 minutes is probably more detrimental to the brain than anything else. Now, arrows are flying out. That ward's watching him very, very closely, and they know what's going on. And now Ferrari, look at him just have a wander in. He's looking for an opening face. Rankmaster Serpent Wards Universe! The Chrono! He got his own hero, though, made him, and the Epicent's on the way in. YYF dropping low. Burrow Strike kills him off. This could be it right now. Chon so low, back inside the pit. Roshan, well, he's down. The Aegis Immortal being picked up already, and Luo able to actually get himself back out again up. The Storm Brilliant brings him down. Zai can't chase him out, but one hero that is Chuan. The gem's on the deck. That's a second one to go down as well. So Doombringer's away to safety. Ferrari's away to safety, but Roshan, it belongs to EG. Killed by the Dire. And the Aegis Immortal triggered out from Arteezy.
Had to go for that fight, but at the same time it's the worst place on the map they can actually take a fight. The Roche Pit, EG have so many initiation angles, so many initiators as well, and yeah, this is the point when IG will lose their mid barracks, I think, unless they pull up some miraculous play. There's no Master Serpent Wards, there's no Doom.
They have fortification at least. This will buy some time for the Pugna to respawn out. At the same time, I don't think EG were really even looking for it. You look up
they
towards
might wait for their ultimates again.
Yeah, until they have the whole shebang, they're not going to want to jump in. You don't have Mason split, you don't have Universe's Chrono until 10 seconds. But you got 30 seconds left on Zai. You've got 0 seconds left now over on the Razor. And Moonlight Shadow's only meant for pickoffs outside of the base anyway.
Yeah, I kind of like that EG are playing it safe here. It really shows how much they respect IG, that they have to be feeling pretty good about themselves with their position in the game right now, but they are not overextending for this mid push. I think they could have perhaps got away with it, but why take the chance? When you have such a ultimate heavy lineup and 3 of them are on cooldown, hang on, reset the fight, or just reset the game kind of, and gather up once more and take another fight, because the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 fights EG have won, so they know they're going to win every single time if they're together and use their abilities correctly, and I see no reason why they shouldn't believe that they can keep that trend going.
If they can, hey.
Desperation time.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. They need a good pick off here, and they're going to get it. VKB,
no! He got it off pretty quick. The Burrow Strike is on 2! The Epicenter, there's no stun. Zai gets it off in the Chrono again! Ferrari is gone! Pugna is gone! IG is completely gone from the map. It's a godlike streak right now. 3 heroes on the sidelines, and EG throw caution to the wind. No safety first. Push down middle lane. They need this counter-racks finally.
Whenever EG have these teamfight heroes, they always somehow manage to find the perfect initiation every time. Great reflexes from Arteezy to get the BKB off before he got hexed by Faith. And I think it didn't matter anyway. I mean, if he gets hexed, maybe IG even clump up even more.
The fact that Universe and Zai was so close, Void and SK being so close was the breaker for that one. Arteezy would have taken a little bit of damage, but that would be it. And now they come high ground. So no ulti still available here for Allison, for Arteezy. All right, will bring down this tier 3 tower. Chuan is prepping for the fight. 7 seconds until Pugna is back, but no fortification to buy him the time. Already that ulti has gone off from Arteezy. The mid-million racks with the jump in. He got the Doom on Mason, but Burrow Strike on Alluro. Faith, Master Serpent wants it down. Low life for Luo, he's out, and he's out! The mech got off for Ferrari. Universe, he's diving in, but the BKB's already gone out. The tower's doing the damage. They're using Moonlight Shadow to actually escape. He walks straight past YYF and away to safety. They move back at mech. Now remember, EG, it's a low cooldown for the Razor Ultimate, and the Brewmaster never got his split off, but they got melee racks in the mid. That was the important thing for EG.
Really impressive by IG to repel them there, though. I was sure they were going to lose both the barracks there. They lost the important one, of course. The melee barracks did go down. Arteezy dealing tons of damage with the Eye of the Storm to that, and oh my god, he's almost got a heart as well. It makes you wonder, when you look at IG's lineup, how are they ever going to kill Arteezy? EG just put him in the front lines, he puts on Eye of the Storm, he starts hitting the buildings. They have to initiate on the hero they can't kill, and the turnaround potential of EG is, they've got 3 of the best counter initiators in the whole game between Brew, Void, as well as the Sand King, so I don't know what you do at this point if you're IG. You might have to look for a pick-off and somehow try to get a 4-on-5 fight out of it, but EG just seem impossible to catch out.
Yeah.
Zai was somewhat close there, but without the Doom, they almost can't catch the Sand King out anyway. The only mechanic they have to catch him then is a Blink Hex, and Faith wasn't there, so Zai can play with a lot of confidence here in this split push, knowing that Doom is on cooldown, and I think it's just a matter of time before EG decide, okay, let's clean up the tier 2 towers so we can access the rest of the base.
Hey, you know it's a sad day when you say
13-37 the Dream, by the way. One more kill for EG and we're there.
Wonderful. Wonderful. The dream can be lived.
Important detail right there.
I'm glad I have you, Sid.
And it might very well happen at this point, because EG are on the hunt here.
Yeah.
Let's hope they find one and only one hero, and that IG calls GG after that.
You could just pause it halfway through, man.
It might actually be happening. No.
No, he's back far enough. The movement from EG.
Good awareness from Luo.
Yeah, this is something which IG also did. It was roughly about 10 minutes ago. They realized EG was completely missing on the map, and it was just a smoke train that was searching for him. And IG, they've played this before. Like, people can have flashbacks to TI3, for example. It's like, oh, everyone's missing on the map. Back in the base, boys. Batten down the hatches and weather the storm. And that's exactly what they do.
Quite literally against Razor, yes.
Yes.
Pun
was not intended, but realized.
Yeah.
Well, push will now come
I
on
don't
the
think
bottom
he's even
lane.
going to turn on the ultimate at this point.
There's no reason to.
EG knows that IG will not fight outside the base, so they're going to hold on to the Eye of the Storm, and then Arteezy's going to be popping it when they reach the high ground of the Radiant base in the bottom lane, and that means IG will have to jump on him, since there's going to be an Eye of the Storm hitting the tower. They have to go through 10 armor with 3,500 health and a backup squad of 3 sick ultimates. And if they don't, their tower falls. They have no glyph for another 1 second, so...
They do have 3 buybacks, though. Like, it's not in the supports, but they have 3 buybacks on the course. These are going to be the important things. TP's coming back. Already YYF draining and just forcing Arteezy back. They'll do the same thing. It's a long range, but there goes Universe. Look at the lock! Holy Hannah! YYF just gets bashed down, and the Void ulti, it got Ferrari as well. It was the only one in Universe. Too much damage, runs away, actually helps Enchantress. Now Razor into trouble, Zai comes in, face down, Ferrari low on life. The Meg charge will now go. Chuan needs more damage. They got the face as well, he only got one. The Chrono, the jump out by Luo, a little bit too far away. And PPD and Mason are going to bail out.
They actually held that.
Yeah.
For once, the Chrono not perfect, but it wasn't because the Chrono placement was bad, it was just really quick reactions from Luo. He dodged the Chronosphere by blinking out, so it was like a two-purpose move. He avoided the Chrono and he doomed the Brew. Again, we don't get any split out from Mason, who might need to stand a little bit further back, even though he's actually standing far enough back as it is, but Luo's just really good at catching him out here. And
if he's any further back, it looks like he wasn't in the fight.
Repel here by IG. I thought that was going to be the end of the game right there.
But it's not going to end. Ferrari caught out in the bottom lane. The arrow with the burrow strike from Zai sets it up, and Brewmaster brawls in while drunk on the bottom lane. 15:39. They're pushing into the high ground yet again. That tier 3 tower only with 352 life points. It's going to be so difficult though. Like the wonderful zoning out ability was actually Pugner's Aghanim Scepter. Like Arteezy, he walked into this box, and from here, YYF was draining him. And the only option which EG kind of felt like they had to do was, well, time walk the Void in that deep to go on him.